a dramatic move today by Donald Trump, a temporary ban on all immigration in the US. Now, this, I presume, will inflame his critics who have always been critical of his terror bans on immigration into the US. Obviously, this is aimed at restricting the influx of coronavirus infections. What do you think about that ban? And do you think Australia's effectively done something similar, haven't we?
Well, yes, I totally agree with Donald Trump's ban on immigration. Makes common sense. When you've got countries, and as you've said in the lead up to this, in Germany, 22,000 cases a day of coronavirus, and you see what's happening around the world. So you can't open up the international flights to go into America. I've actually advocated the same here in Australia, not to have any immigration into the country until we're actually clear of the coronavirus. And actually the rest of the world has to as well. You don't want to have to go through this time and time again because people come into the country and bring the virus with them. So I've already spoken to Minister Peter Dutton with regards to this, that there is a stop to immigration, whether those people advocate it to come here to Australia, applied to it, or even refugees, and we shouldn't take immigration till we are clear of the coronavirus.
And what's he said about that? I mean, obviously, we're not taking foreign nationals now, so I'm presuming the immigration influx would have been halted during this period as well.
Correct. And that's what I've been told, that it has been halted. And I asked, is the processing still going on, which he couldn't answer my question. So we actually need to put halt to this. Australians, as in Americans now, are protesting because they're tired of not working, the lockdown that's happening to them, and the same will happen in Australia. And if you open up the borders and people come into the country and then we have a problem with the coronavirus again, Australians will not be very happy about it. So we need to ensure, keep our borders closed till there is a real downturn throughout the world with coronavirus.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. I wrote about this on the weekend, that if we can get back to something approaching normality in Australia, it's going to have to be behind these secure borders we've got now. We've got to maintain all of that quarantine and the like. It's just obvious because there's so many infections around the world. I was talking to an American friend, Pauline, who we like to think that we're anti-authoritarian in Australia, and we tend to be. We tend to sort of ignore authority a lot, but she mentioned that Australians are actually much more likely to do what they're told by governments and authorities than Americans. And we are seeing that play out now with these demonstrations. Australians have been remarkably compliant, I think, to some pretty onerous measures in some of the states.
I totally agree with you. I think Americans are more likely to get out and protest. You have your protest rallies in Australia, but that's mainly people to the left of politics. The conservative side of people, they won't get out or say anything. They'll have their whinge across the barbecue, and gee, I don't want to bring myself to attention. I don't want people to know what I'm thinking. So they keep it very much to themselves. They comply with it. But it's a shame because I think that people are led like sheep to the slaughter in this country with a lot of things. And that's why I've never given up, Chris, because I stood my ground on many issues and I've spoken about so many things over the years that I can see they have come to fruition now. And it's a shame because Australians were, oh no, that'll never happen. No, we don't want to complain about this. But, I think they've done exceptionally well during this COVID-19 lockdown.
Well, this is the point. This is one of the balancing acts that Scott Morrison and the premiers have got to get right. You don't want to kill the economy to stop the virus, and you don't want to let the virus go loose to liven up the economy. But they've also got to maintain faith with the public. The public have been very cooperative so far and compliant, and we've seen good reward. But people are starting to want some of these restrictions lifted. And I think the government's got to take some of those measures away quickly enough, or people are going to get very resentful.
Well, they have, Chris. Today we've had 21 cases in this last day, 13 the day before. Now, the fact is that is very, very low. We're in a population of over 25 million in the country. As I have advocated, the jobs won't be there for a lot of people. A lot of businesses will not open up again. They will remain shut. They were going through hard times prior to this. This is the nail in the coffin, the same as Virgin. Virgin were travelling at, $5 billion debt. Now, if they get up and running again, that's up to the backers or shareholders to actually get behind them.
How should they be solved?
The government.
Not the government. It should be their shareholders who stump in the capital and keep them going.
That's right. They've got to work it out themselves. I don't believe that the government should be, putting up the money, $1.4 billion.
Even though it's government measures that have put them in this position? It's government measures, understandable government measures to stop the pandemic, but it's government measures that have done this to them.
No, I'm sorry. They were a $5 billion debt prior to this. They were looking down the barrel of a, bad management of the organisation, that they haven't been travelling very well. This has been the nail in the coffin with the coronavirus. If the backers who now have a huge percentage in the company, why aren't they coming forward? Because they can't see it is going to be profitable for them. So why would you encourage taxpayers' dollars into it? And I understand the 10,000 jobs that are at risk here. But over the period of time of aviation in Australia, we've lost 55 airline companies in Australia. So Virgin could be another one listing that, but someone else will take over and they will get up and start operating in Australia, because we won't stay at just the one with Qantas. We won't. And I think that we need to actually look at this realistically. If you pump this money into it, where's the guarantee that Virgin still won't go under? And what will the government get out of it? Because the aeroplanes are leased. Where are they going to get the money from?
I'm going to take that up with another guest in just a moment. But before I let you go, I'm really keen to hear your thoughts on this issue, because you know perhaps better than anybody that if you're a Conservative woman, a woman on the right of politics, it's open season on you. Whereas if a woman on the left gets attacked, they're rightly called out for sexism and misogyny and all the rest of it. What are your thoughts then on Peter Credlin, and in particular the way that Malcolm Turnbull's book has attacked her so strongly and in a salacious way as well?
Well, since she's been on Sky and she's had her own programs, she's a very forthright, independent, strong lady. She's absolutely wonderful in her politics and her understanding of it, having worked in the Prime Minister's office with Tony Abbott. She was a senior advisor there. Of course, you listen to your senior advisors. There's no minister's office that you don't listen to what the senior advisor has to say. I think because she's actually come out and attacked Malcolm Turnbull, that he's had his nose put out of joint. I can't understand why the Liberal Party haven't thrown him out of the Liberal Party. And you're right, the feminists never come out. They always keep mouth shut, and if those on the left, if they have a go at them, it's happened to me over the years. The feminists are the worst in this nation, the lefties, the elites, and they don't stand up for the females in this nation when they really need to.
That's the extraordinary thing. Outside of being an actual politician, in terms of political operatives, there's been no woman more successful in this country than Peter Credlin. She's subjected to these sorts of attacks, and the feminists are silent.
Correct. They're supposed to stand up for female rights, and regardless of what side of politics someone's on, and male or female, if the wrong thing's been done by them, and if my voice is going to back them up, then I'll back them up. I'm not a feminist. I just believe in what's fair and right, and I think she's been wrongly, bashed around by Malcolm Turnbull, and I think Peter does a great job.